So now you've got your first project car, maybe based on the recommendation in my last video. I'll leave that here if you guys want to check it out. And you are just itching to jump into the mods. What should you do first? Maybe a little intake, maybe a little exhaust, maybe a little chassis mount wing. But hold your horses, bud, there's a lot to do on a car. And depending on what you intend to use the car for, there's a lot of different routes you can take when picking your first modifications. Everybody wants to jump in and throw a cat back on it the day they pick it up. But today we're going to be talking about the 5 modifications that you should make first if you're making a functional or a track car project build. Let's get it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sean, and just a friendly reminder to hit that subscribe button down below if you're new to the channel. I make new content every week and I'm super excited that you guys are here. Now let's talk about some mods, but first I want to make a disclaimer. This list is not intended to have aesthetic mods. You can spend money on a wrap or LED headlights later. The first mod on this list is never really the first thing to come to mind. We all want to dive headfirst into exhausts and aero, but the fact of the matter is, if you want to improve the performance of your car, the number one thing you should consider upgrading first is your tires. Yes, you heard me right, tires. And if you can afford it, go ahead and pick up a new set of wheels while you're at it. By choosing a new set of wheels, not only do you get to customize your car, but it also opens up the possibilities for running a larger tire size. You see, there's this thing called the law of limiting factors, which simply put states that when you're looking for improvement, you should first change the thing that limits you the most. Considering your tires are the part of the car that connect your engine to the road, they limit pretty much every part of your car's performance. Now, a lot of people slap on a big brake kit assuming they're gonna get better braking, when in reality, they should turn their attention and their wallet towards better tires. Believe it or not, TireRack.com is actually a fantastic resource for researching tires back to back. So if you want to compare the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S versus the Yokohama Advan Apex, that's the place to do it. And when you're trying to find the right wheel and tire size, make sure you hit up fitmentindustries.com. They've got a massive gallery where people have submitted their cars and they list all of their specs on their wheels, tires, suspension, spacers, the whole 9 yards. This will help you decide what wheels look good and what wheels actually fit your car. Because there's nothing worse than dropping your stimulus check on a brand new set of wheels and tires, getting them in the mail, throwing them on the car, and realizing they stick outside the fender 2 whole inches. Next up is suspension, and we're specifically referring to coilovers. Sure, you can drop your car an inch or 2 on springs or spend $4,000 or $5,000 on an air setup, but coilovers offer the best bang for your buck when it comes to upgrading your suspension for tight roads or for the track. This is not to say that springs or bags can't give you an improvement over your stock struts, but an adjustable coilover setup gives you benefits that springs don't offer and are much cheaper than going to a full airbag setup. Now, yes, of course, there are expensive coilover setups that are just as expensive, if not more so, than an air suspension setup, but we're talking affordable coilovers here. We gotta stick to the budget. For around $700, you can pick up a kit from Tane Coilovers, or if you can step up to that $1,000 to $1,200 range, you can get a set from BC Racing. These type of kits can give you some adjustable dampening as well as some camber control and will massively improve the way your car gets around corners. Now, the next mod on this list might be a little bit out there for some people, but stick with me here. I'm talking about Swaybars.
Sean, what the heck is a sway bar?
A sway bar is essentially a large metal bar that connects your left and right control arms. So you've got one for the front and one for the back. So when you go around the corner and the body starts to lean over, the twisting of the sway bar helps to pull the inside strut down and the outside strut up, therefore helping to keep the car flat and controlled through tight corners. This mod is on this list not only because it's good for performance, but also because it's a fantastic mod for daily drivers. When you're driving down the road and the left and right suspension are more or less doing the same thing, there's no twisting of that bar. So it doesn't make the ride any more harsh, but when you get to the back roads and start ripping, it helps keep the car flat through the turns. Number 4 on this list is aero, and before you jump on me about,
I thought this wasn't about aesthetics.
I'm not talking about big wings and wide body kits. I'm more so referring to front splitters, canards, side skirts, and even diffusers. Splitters and front canards have a similar function in that they create drag at the front of the car. At speed, this applies more downforce on the front tires, allowing you to controllably take turns that you wouldn't be able to otherwise. Side skirts have a simple function, which is essentially to prevent air from slipping in the sides of the car, because this increases lift, and reduces downforce. Your side skirts don't have to be crazy low or anything. Most of the ones that are built for track use increase downforce by about 5%. But really, it's more about the overall aerodynamic package. If you want to add more downforce to the rear of the car without adding a bunch of drag from a big wing, you might consider adding a diffuser. A diffuser creates downforce by taking advantage of the low pressure air leaving the exit of the car. Just make sure that when you're shopping for a diffuser, you get one that's actually proven to increase downforce and not one that's just supposed to look good. And last but not least on this list, we've got something here for the people who want to really dig into the engine. Whether that's a turbo upgrade, a turbo add-on, or even a full rebuild, at some point you're going to need to keep that engine cool. And that's why the last mod on this list is an oil cooler or a radiator upgrade. Now there's lots of different styles of oil coolers, different ways to mount them, different ways to run the lines, but the intention is to pull hot oil away from the engine, send it through a heat exchanger at the front of the car, and then feed it back to the oil pan. Upgrading your cooling system could be as simple as upsizing your radiator fans, or it could be replacing your radiator altogether. Whichever route you choose, it'll set you up in a better position for when you decide to make more power. That's gonna wrap it up for this episode, guys. Leave me a comment down below what was the first mod on your car or what you're planning to do next. If you liked this video, make sure you actually like it down below. It really helps me out. If you want to see more from me, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we'll see you on the next one.